Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today is day 2 of our Iris by a Quaint Stitch sew along. Today we'll be creating the inside pocket and we'll also be creating the flap. Pretty easy day, everything should be ready from yesterday, all cut and prepped. So let's start by grabbing the pieces that we need for the pocket. One is the pocket, inside pocket of the pockets, that big rectangle. Then you'll also need your one of the linings. You have two identical ones, so just pick one. You'll need your zipper, a zipper pull that I left on the other table. And if you want to add any kind of tags, make sure you grab those so you don't forget them. Okay, so let's start by doing some measurements first. We're going to take the pocket and we're going to find the center. If you used cotton woven, you can also press this. I'm using water resistant canvas, so I'm not going to press it, but I do see the center line here. And you want to measure a rectangle that's 6 by 3/8 of an inch, or 6 by half an inch if you're using number 5 zipper. And you want to center that. So we're going to also fold it lengthwise to find the center. So I'm going to mark this. This is my center point. So my vertical line and my inside line. You see it right. Alright, so now that we have that marked, we're going to go ahead and measure 1 inch down from the crease. Sorry, half an inch down from the crease, not 1. So half an inch down from the crease, like the horizontal crease. And you want to do, I'm going to mark the center of that half an inch down. So this is the center, this is half an inch down, and here you want to place 6 by 3/8 of an inch rectangle. So because I have the center, I'm just going to measure 3 inches on each side and draw a line. Because 3 by 3 is 6, 3 plus 3 is 6. And mark it. And from this one, I'm just going to do one that's 3/8 of an inch down. And of course, close the sides. You can see the center of the pocket and then the line down. I'm making these markings on the back of the pocket. Okay, so now you take your piece, you place it right side up, and you're going to also find the center by folding it in half. And the panel will go 1 inch, so this is my center. The panel will go 1 inch and 1.25 inches lower than the top. So this crease here, the center crease, will have to be 1.25. Okay. So I place my ruler. This is my 1.25 mark, and this is where I'm going to center. I can see the center line here, and I can see the center line here, so I'm going to center it like so, on that line. Perfect. So now, I'm going to grab a couple of this, just to hold it in place, because we're going to stitch it very soon. Okay, so let's go ahead and just stitch around this. I'm going to stitch this down with a stitch length of about 2.5 or 3 along that rectangle that we just drew. Pivot when you get to that corner stitch. And you can definitely backstitch at the beginning and at the end. So it should look something like this. Let me grab some little scissors because you want to cut a hole. I can eyeball it, but if you cannot, I'm going to recommend you draw yourself some marks. So in the center here, do that wide drawing about ½ inch away from the side seams. And this is the line that you're going to be cut. I made a rough drawing so you can see what you're cutting. So you're going to be cutting along the center line and those little V's at the end without snipping into your stitches. But do go as close as you can possibly get it to the stitches. The closer you go, the neater will look when you turn it. Would I have chosen smaller scissors for this step? Probably not. And I do have good big scissors here somewhere for this. Oh well. There you go. So let's turn it so these pieces are like so. And if you see that your corners are not crisp, you can go ahead and continue stitching, continue snipping until they are even closer to the stitch. Can sometimes do a little snip and it will make a world of difference. This looks pretty good. Because I'm working with waterproof canvas, it feels a little tougher. If you're working with woven, this step will be a little easier. Probably should have made the lining of the pocket woven and kept the lining of the bag waterproof canvas. Give it a good press. If you're using woven or canvas, you can definitely give it an iron press with your iron machine. I'm gonna do a little finger press here. Maybe put some clips just to hold it down a little bit until I prep my zipper. So once you turn it, it should look something like this. Okay? Leave it aside for now, and let's go ahead and add the zipper. So I have some zipper tape. I think this is number 5. I'm not sure. I got it off of Amazon because I wanted like a kind of just a regular black zipper and black pulls, and the price was good. And we're going to add the zipper pull. like so. Make sure there's no bubble. There was a little bubble, so I'll just try it again. Okay, now there's no bubble. Okay, and you want to lay this on the other right sides, to the right side of the pocket, like so. So the zipper pull is on this side. I like to use a little bit of double-sided tape. This is 1/8 of an inch that I just place along the edge of the zipper. I do have this zipper cut a little longer than I needed it, so I'm not going to put tape all the way. The pattern does give you the measurements for the zipper. I just eyeballed it when I was cutting stuff. So I have my double-sided tape like this, and I'm going to center the zipper in that zipper opening here as best as possible. Ooh, that is quite good on first try. What I'm looking for is that the zipper teeth are centered in that opening. So that's my goal for this step. You can reposition it, you can move it around until you stitch it. See, like on that side it was perfect, on this side it's not, so I'm just repositioning it. There you go. And now it looks like this. So we're going to go ahead and stitch around the rectangle box. Move your zipper pull away. And I'm using a red thread, so you can definitely see it very easily. Alright, so now I'm going to trim the excess zipper from the sides. There we go. There you go. So I do have this little tag here that I think I'm going to add. It has a spot for rivets, so I'm going to center it right under the zipper. Make sure that when you do snap it on, or whatever method you're sewing it on, you don't go through the pocket lining. So I have that away. And let me add a little double-sided tape as my helping hands. Obviously, this is an optional step. So this is what it will look like. You can stitch it around if you want. I'm going to make some holes. Again, make sure you don't puncture the pocket opening. Just, well, this might have been a little easier probably had I done it before. Yeah, before adding the zipper. So the holes are done. I have this matte rivets that are really nice. But I think a shorter post would have been nicer for this, because it's just one layer, but whatever. We work with what we have. I could have just stitched it, I know, but it looks prettier with the rivets. There you go. Easy peasy. Okay, and last step, we're going to stitch the sides of the pockets only. We're not going to stitch the bottom because we're going to birth the bag through the bottom. Although, I have to tell you, I'm not too keen on that because I think it's gonna be a nightmare with this little pocket because I've used both Decovil Light and vinyl. It may not be a great idea to birth it to this. We'll see when the bag is almost done if we're going to birth it as the pattern calls through the pocket, or if I'm just going to fold over the edges and do like a drop-in lining. We'll see. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and stitch the sides, keep my options open until the last step. So let's stitch the sides closed. And if I do decide to do a drop-in lining at the end, I can just stitch the pocket closed without birthing anything through it. So it's not, it doesn't make any difference. I can decide on the last step. I'm a big fan of the drop-in linings with the fold over top edge. So easy, so easy. But if you're using woven or canvas, then you can definitely go ahead and birth it through the pocket here. You shouldn't have any issues. Alright, so this is it for this step. We're going to move on to the next and last step for today, which will be creating the flap. Alright, so for the last part of today's steps, we're going to be creating the flap. So you have your flap pieces, which is a lining. In my case, if you remember from yesterday, I've cut them both from the main fabric, but you should have a lining and a main. On the lining, if you did not draw from the pattern piece, if you did not draw the snap, you can measure it now and place it centered 1.25 inches from the bottom. So 1.25 inches from the bottom and centered. And I did also mark the same marking on my main. The main is the one that has the Decovil light on the back because I'm going to put like my handmade tag there. So let's start by doing that. I'm going to cut some Decovil heavy scraps just to reinforce this. And let's start with the front. So it's the one with the Decovil. I have a little handmade tag here in gunmetal. I don't have a matte one, but it will have to do. And I'm going to mark the prongs center. Okay, mark the prongs, and with the seam ripper, how cool is this seam ripper? Look at that. This is from Dead Oak. You can find them on Facebook. So cool. And it's made with thread and glitter. Oh, I love it. And it's not just a seam ripper. It's a seam ripper and stiletto. It's really cool. I'll link them in the description of the video so you can check them out. Okay, so these are the two. There you go. I'm going to put the tag. This is something that I usually forget to do, and I realize after. Not today. Look at me being spot on today. Well, for this I technically don't need any more because I have the Decovil already done, but since I cut it, let me just add it. And there you go. Don't forget your washer. And I'm going to cover it with a little bit of duct tape just to prevent any kind of rubbing on the back of the vinyl. Okay. So this is my front. Now it's going to be easy to distinguish. And now for the back, you want to take your male snap, set the female part aside for when we do the front tomorrow. And I'm going to mark the two prongs using the washer and basically repeat the same step I did with. But this one definitely needs reinforcing on the back because there's nothing on my vinyl. And even if you did use woven and you've interfaced it or you interfaced your vinyl, make sure that you do reinforce your snaps because this is going to be a big up, down as you open the back. So you do need the extra reinforcement there for longevity. Okay. And then the prongs. These are pretty small snaps. I think I would have preferred a 12mm one. I think these are 9-ish. They are smaller than normal, I think. Okay, and a little bit of duct tape on the back. No, too small. Alright, so lining and main. Place them right sides together and we're going to stitch them with, I'm just double checking the seam allowance, 3/8 of an inch. So, right sides together, let me put some clips here. And we're going to stitch all around, leaving the top, so top straight line remains unstitched. Here, I'm going to put a different clip so I remember it. So this part remains open, so we can turn it through there. And as you can see here, there's a little angle. Make sure that you follow that angle with your seam allowance when you stitch it. Okay, go in here and you pivot and keep the seam allowance. Go slowly around the corner. It's a rounded corner. And again, I got to the other side where that angle starts. I'm going to pivot. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Okay, so now I'm going to reduce some of the bulk at the corners. You can use pinking shears here. And trim some of that seam allowance away, but not too much. Okay, here where that angle is, I'm going to flatten it as much as I can. Alright, and let's turn it and top stitch it, and that's it for today. If you're using cotton woven or cotton canvas, you can definitely give this a press along the seams with your iron. I'm using vinyl, so it's not the case. So let me see, I have a little boning tool that I can run along the edges. Make sure they're nice. Like so. You see, we kept the corner here, so I'm going to go ahead and top stitch all around, and we're going to close this opening. We don't need it anymore, we just need the flap as a one piece. Okay, for my top stitching, I'm going to move to a 4 length, and I'm going to go about 1/8 of an inch away from the seam allowance. Go slow around the curve so you can keep the seam allowance constant. And again, make sure you keep that angle there at the top. And we're going to close the raw edge of the top. Doesn't matter because that will be enclosed in the back. Alright, so the flap is done, top stitch. Now you should have a flap and an inner pocket all ready for the next steps. So make sure that you take a photo of today's completed steps and you put it in the day two photo of the Iris sew along. The sew along album is in the Backstitch backroom, and that's your check-in for day 2.